Manny buys the driver bribes so that he will carry the elephant even though he was informed he was carrying a horse. The vehicle rolls downhill as they ascend a slope due to the weight of the elephant. When Manny and his companion attempt to raise the truck again, the elephant furiously urinates on Manny's companion. A convoy of other cars assists Manny in transporting the elephant to the party, which is situated in a distant area. It is ostentatious and exaggerated, featuring a procession of narcotics and numerous nude or topless ladies. In addition to cabaret singer Lady Fei Zhu entertaining the audience with a seductive tune, jazz musician Sidney Palmer performs with his band. Veteran actor Jack Conrad shows up at the party. His wife Ina is demanding a divorce from him because he continues to speak to her in Italian and doesn't seem to be interested in her. Jack had a party-going hookup with a waitress. Manny witnesses a young woman outside the mansion named Nellie Leroy, who is driving her automobile into a statue while under the influence of drink or drugs. She is dressed in a very skimpy red dress. Manny assists her in getting inside when the security guard tries to deny her access. He takes Nellie to a drugged-out room where they both use cocaine. While Manny discloses that he was born in Mexico and hopes to make a name for himself in the movie business, Nellie discusses how she is from New Jersey and her dreams of being a famous actor. Nellie wins Manny over with ease. A young actress named Jane Thornton overdoses on drugs during the celebration while having sex with an older, obese man and giving him a golden shower. Bob Levine, Manny's supervisor, gives him and his colleague instructions to resolve the issue. In order to smuggle the unconscious Jane through the celebration undetected, they let the elephant loose into the gathering, frightening the other guests. Nellie then makes an impression by dancing her way through the crowd while extremely high and inebriated. After the celebration winds down, Nellie receives an invitation to work on a movie production, as Jane was originally intended to play the part. Bob tells Manny to bring an unconscious Jack back to his house at first light. Even after a brief inebriated outburst and a fall into his pool from the balcony, Jack is unharmed and asks Manny to stay with him. Jack starts working on an epic film about a crusader later that day. Manny gets assigned to deal with the extras, who chase after him until he seizes a gun and mounts a horse to frighten them away. The filmmaker wants to catch his last shot before the sun sets, but the horses ruin every camera. After driving to a camera store, Manny has to wait more than an hour to get the final camera in stock. Manny steals an ambulance in the last moments of the shoot so that the crew may capture a wide shot of Jack kissing the lead actress, complete with a butterfly falling on him for added flair. The group applauds. Nellie arrives on the set amid all of this and meets Max, the assistant director, and director Ruth Adler. Olivia chooses to settle for Nellie even though she was hoping for the other actress with the tits. She is supposed to appear in a silent Western movie in which she walks into a bar and acts crudely. When Constance Moore, the major actress in the movie, shows there, Nellie steals the show with her performance, winning both Ruth and a visiting Wallach in the process. Ruth tells the cameras to keep shooting even though a nearby set fire nearly puts an end to the production. Nellie's career in Hollywood takes off in 1927, and she continues to work harder than Constance, who is upset that her money is funding the movie. Robert, Nellie's father, shows up and tries to take advantage of her sudden celebrity. Jack helps Manny secure assistant roles in movies in the meanwhile. Olga Putty, a Hungarian actress Jack marries, shoots him in the arm after she finds out he cheated on her. One of the earliest talkie movies, The Jazz Singer, is shown to Manny at the theater. He exits the house and uses a payphone to inform Jack that a change in circumstances is imminent. After rescuing Nellie from crazy admirers and photographers when she went to the premiere of her most recent movie, Manny is in New York City on business in 1928 when he runs into her again. Nellie chats to him about how she tries not to let other people's opinions define her as they drive away from the scene in a cab. She visits her institutionalized mother at a nearby asylum with Manny in tow. A few days later, Nellie returns to Hollywood and works on a talking picture. However, the set is excessively hot and stresses her out. Ruth is also bothered by Lloyd, the sound mixer, about how loud or quiet Nellie is, among other things. It's extremely hot in the recording booth, and one of the crew members begs to be let out, but Max makes him stay. Since the sound of the air conditioner is obstructing the movie, they won't use any. Everyone applauds as the crew member eventually succeeds on their 8th attempt before they pass out from heat stroke and tumble out of the booth. A few more evenings later, Jack and his third wife, Estelle, show up for another crazy party that Manny attends. Sydney is performing with his band, and Faye is a special guest. Nellie appears on a football team's back, seizing the chance to kiss Jack in front of Estelle. Before Faye and Nellie can finish their passionate dance, an inebriated partygoer pushes through them. Nellie is offended when she overhears two men discussing how she lacks talent and has a voice like a dying pig as she goes to the restroom to clean up. When she gets outside, she witnesses her father discussing how to battle a snake with another woman. The audience cheers as Nellie brings everyone out and asks if anyone wants to watch Robert battle a snake. After driving into the desert with Jack, Nellie, Manny, Faye, Robert, and other visitors, Nellie spots a rattlesnake and orders Robert to battle it. Robert manages to get into a combat stance, but he collapses. Then, in defiance of everyone else's advice, Nellie decides to take on the serpent alone. The snake bites Nellie's neck when she reaches for it. When the others are unable to assist Nellie as she frantically runs around, Faye takes a knife, decapitates the snake, and then removes the poison from Nellie's neck. Nellie gives Faye a passionate kiss as she comes to. Manny suggests Sydney for a position at Kinescope Studios after some time has passed. Bob is impressed by Manny's work and extends an executive position offer to him. However, he tells Manny that Nellie's reputation is declining because of her frequent partying, gambling, and alleged relationship with Faye, which leads to Faye's termination because Hollywood is growing more conservative. Nellie overhears Manny's attempt to sell her to the upper management on repairing her reputation, and she arranges for gossip writer Eleanor St. John to help. Sydney starts working at Kinescope Studios at the height of the popularity of black-led movies. But when Manny advises he put on blackface makeup, he gets irritated and uneasy. Sydney departs the studio permanently after filming a successful performance with his jazz band. He never returns. Jack finds out that George Munn, a close buddy, killed the woman he was seeing and then killed himself. Estelle's description of Jack's work as low art upsets Jack, and they argue. Hollywood made the full switch to talking movies in 1930. Eleanor and Manny have put a lot of effort into restoring Nellie's reputation. She is taken to a fancy party where she tries to present a more refined and affluent image to the other snobby upper-class socialites and movie stars in attendance. But Nellie can no longer contain her contempt for the other guests, and she launches into a vulgar tirade before gorging on the food and leaving. Shortly after, she enters the room again and starts throwing up on the floor in the host's face. Jack discovers that his career is failing in 1932. He keeps working for Kinescope on low-budget movies, but when he visits a theater, he finds that people are giggling at his portrayal in the most recent movie. In addition, Jack reads a column Eleanor wrote after she interviewed him regarding the decline of his star, and he approaches her. She informs him quite plainly that although his career as an actor is ended, he and all the other actors of his era will live on in the memories of future generations thanks to their films. So he can find solace in the knowledge that they made a lasting impact on the business. Subsequently on, Jack receives a call from executive Irving Thalberg, who at first claims to have a promising project for him. Thalberg subsequently admits that the project is a complete bust and that Jack understands it would be a favor for him. One evening, a disheveled and terrified Nellie pays Manny a visit at his house. She informs him that she owes a gangster over $85,000 in gaming debts, and that they plan to smear her genitalia with acid if she doesn't make the payment by the end of the week. After realizing how upset Nellie is and recalling their time spent together as well as his deep concern for her, Manny changes his mind and offers to assist. He visits the Count, a longtime colleague who used drugs on set and has acting aspirations. With the bundle of cash in tow, Manny and the Count visit James McKay, the mobster. Manny gets quite anxious when the Count shows that the bag is full of prop money as McKay leaves to get drinks. McKay invites the two to go to an underground site, an abandoned mine, where deviant sex practices are happening, along with his thug Wilson. McKay leads them to the big event, a vicious man who consumes live rats. McKay discovers the prop money is false when he discovers a drop of water on it as he begins tossing it at the man. After Manny stabs Wilson in the neck with a mace, the other men pursue them. After releasing a chained alligator, Manny chases after the Count and barely avoids being shot. Manny grabs Nellie the following day and begs her to flee with him to Mexico. They gather their belongings and head to the gas station with the Count. While Manny starts to pump, Nellie enters a party and starts dancing. Nellie sobs at all the problems she has caused Manny, especially as he tells her how much he loves her, when he emphasizes that they must go quickly. They decide to be married and start a new life in Mexico. Manny and Nellie dance as a photographer by their side captures their first kiss. Jack is out at a party that afternoon with his new girlfriend. When he last sees Faye, she informs him that she is leaving for Europe to work for Path Studios. After bidding farewell, Faye casts a somber glance back at Jack. Then, Jack stealthily approaches his hotel room, pulls out a gun, and shoots himself in the head. Nellie waits for Manny in the car when he goes to the Count's residence that evening to gather their final belongings. However, Nellie feels unworthy of Manny and magically dances off into the night. The Count and his roommate are killed by one of McKay's goons when they show up. Even though Manny weeps for his life, the gangster orders him to leave Los Angeles. After getting into his car, Manny books it. A quick montage features images of attendees at Jack's funeral, newspaper stories reporting Eleanor's 76-year-old passing, and Nellie's 34-year-old body discovered in her hotel room. Time travels to 1952, when Manny arrives back in Los Angeles with his wife and small daughter. He tells a security guard he has a profitable business in New York when he stops by Kinescope Studios. Manny watches Singin' in the Rain at the movies as the wife and daughter return to their hotel. He weeps because he misses Nellie and realizes how much the movie and their time together are alike. A different montage depicts the development of movies from the silent era to the 20th century and up to more modern productions like Avatar, Terminator, and The Matrix. Manny smiles through tears, realizing that he's succeeded in realizing his dream of making his imprint in the industry.